Anyone But You is a Shakespeare adaptation. You may not have known. From director Will Gluck, director of Easy A, starring Emma Stone, and Friends with Benefits, starring Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis. Anyone But You takes place in Australia, down under. I can't do an accent, I'm sorry. It stars Glenn Powell from Top Gun Maverick and Sydney Sweeney, most recently of Euphoria, and she was in Reality on HBO. Anyway, the two of these people are star-crossed lovers, all right? They have one exciting night where they meet at a bar downtown in New York, I think, in the States, some city. And they hit it off. Things go great. But then the next morning, something doesn't work out. There's a misconnection, right? And the two of them go their separate ways. Well, 6 months later, they meet again when one's best friend and the other's sister are getting married in a destination wedding in Australia. They both go out, and oh my God, here's the person I can't stand. And everybody at the wedding knows it, right? Like this family knows and that family knows that these two can't stand each other. So they hatch a plan to get the two of them together. They're gonna try to coordinate and maybe whisper through the bushes, and one will overhear one thing, and through the grapevine you'll hear another thing. But these two hatch a plan of their own to get away from everybody, all right? And to not distract from the wedding, they decide to pull the ultimate distraction and act like a couple. That is the bit, right? If you've seen the trailers, it looks like a lot of sun and sunshine and people laughing and having fun. I think Glenn Powell takes his clothes off at one point. The movie is Anyone But You. Andy, what did you think?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. This a lot of fun. There's a lot of laughs. I wasn't sure how funny it would be, but like the opening scene already has a couple of good gags. Laughing from the beginning. It's got a lot of jokes. It again, it's a Shakespeare adaptation, so you get a couple of these ridiculous scenes where characters are talking very loudly, so other characters will overhear them. But it's tongue in cheek. It's another one of these on location rom-coms. Actually, you just recently rewatched being Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which is also non-location rom-com in that takes place in Hawaii. So we kind of get that the Sydney, not Sydney, Australia as the backdrop. We get some iconic, like we see the Sydney Opera House and those kinds of landmarks. Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney have a lot of great chemistry. They're a lot of fun. They're in great physical shape. Like the physiques in Hollywood just keep getting like more and more ridiculous. I think Powell's on the juice, but that's that's neither here nor there.
Ooh,
But yeah, but anyways,
Okay.
no, it's a lot of fun, a lot of great laughs, and this has been really successful. It's made $125 million on a $25 million budget. Still in theaters, still making money, and it's a good return of the rom com, which haven't really done very well in the last few years.
I think the thing that works the best about Anyone But You is going to be when our two characters are like biting at each other. You see it a lot in the trailer, but like functionally, it's what works. The two of them are very good at throwing insults at each other, real fast one-liners. There's a couple of great conversations they have in the first act where they're just throwing barbs one after another, boom, 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 boom. And I think that's where the movie has probably the best energy. And then, of course, in your third act, when you will they or won't they, right? Like you hope that your rom-com leads will get it together and that the family will work out and there won't be any disasters at the destination wedding, right? Like I think in its worst moments for me, I think Anyone But You feels a little stereotypical. But like in its best moments, like that's kind of a good thing, you know. I like God, we're through Oscar season, and I'm so used to watching big bold cinema and 3.5 hour epics in Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon or something wild like Anatomy of a Fall. That like it's really nice to watch something that's like uniquely down to earth, right? Even though it's obviously big and bold in its romantic visions. It is a Shakespeare adaptation in Much Ado About Nothing. I did not put that together till the end. Sorry. I guess I'm a dumb rom-com viewer. I knew there was something going on, and I realized the theme pretty quickly of people like whispering to one another and telling lies. And I thought, man, they should
Very
have called this
loudly,
movie
yeah.
they should have called this movie Rumor Has It or something. Anyone But You is a forgettable title, but it's fine. Then we get to the end, and I'm like, yes, the denouement. It's Midsummer Night's Dream. Andy, Shakespeare adaptation. Any hot takes on how it came together? I mean, really, it's just loose framework for what the movie's really supposed to be, which is these two getting it together in Australia.
Yeah, we have a lot of our classic tropes, a lot of misunderstandings, a lot of people seeing things out of context or hearing things out of context. But it's formulaic, but it's about like the jokes and the performances. It's really funny. I was in like a half full theater and everyone was laughing. Uh, just a lot of really good jokes and updated as well. The supporting cast is really great. You have Dermot Mulroney showing up as the father. Um, just a really great supporting cast, and they're in Australia for their one of their friends and or sisters wedding, which is they're in on it too. So that again, you have a fabulous destination wedding. I was just glad that they were actually in Australia and weren't just on green screens or that sort of thing.
It's funny.
It's nice to see that kind of production.
It's funny you say that. Regarding supporting cast, I also wanted to mention Gata, of course. Gata needs his gat. I didn't expect Gata to be in this show, but he is. He's in the movie. He's in the FX show Dave. It's like Dave's friend, and I've never seen him in anything else. So when he showed up in this, I was like, oh, it's Gata from Dave. And then the credits rolled, and I was like, oh, his name really is Gata. I thought that was his character name. It's not. Gata needs his gat. Regarding the look of this movie, really odd. Really odd. Nobody's going to care about this at all. This movie's shot in a great aspect ratio. It's real wide. There's shots in this movie where they'll have an entire tennis court laid out like diagonal in frame with the camera like pretty close. Like real wide aspect, big bars on the top and bottom, and that gives you really good landscape, and more importantly, it gives you a lot to frame with. So you'll have a couple characters whispering in the background, blurry out of frame, like to the right, and then you'll have your two leads up on the left, talking up close, like towards the front of the frame. Like you'll have a bit of like, they'll be hanging out on a sailboat talking, there'll be like a couple sailboats in the background in the Sydney Opera House. Like understated and small, but really, if you go see this movie in theaters, like keep an eye on how wide the frame is. Like somebody genuinely decided somewhere along the way, hey, we want to show as much as we can in this so we can have a little bit of fun, like where we're placing and blocking. And it works. Like it's small. I don't know why I noticed that, but I was like, hey man, somebody really took the time to notice this. So I would probably go to cinematographer. I don't know their name. I'll tell you in just a second when I find it.
Again, our two leads are great. Glenn Powell is just so charismatic. I feel like he's almost like he's got a little bit of a Ryan Reynolds thing going on. Like he's just got like this quick wit and charm, and yeah, he's just a great on-screen presence. We of course saw that in Top Gun Maverick. I think that's the first time I like really noticed him as an actor, and he's been doing great things since then.
Cinematographer was Danny Ruhlman, who shot Foundation for Apple Plus and Sense8 on Netflix with the Wachowski siblings, right? They did Sense8. Yeah, Glenn Powell's a delight. And you're kind of right with the Ryan Reynolds thing. Like, it's like he's too smart for the room, or he's got that like sharp biting wit that Reynolds has, like same kind of gag. If anything, he might end up playing heels more than heroes, right? Like I know in Top Gun Maverick, he plays Hangman. I think he's slated to be in the next one too. So I mean, he's bolted in there pretty good, barring anything going wrong or him getting goosed in Top Gun 3. Meanwhile, Sydney Sweeney's
don't say it.
Right? Yeah, doesn't take long to think about that. Meanwhile, Sydney Sweeney is a lot of fun. She's simple and understated. Not what I expected. I haven't watched Euphoria. And in reality, she is a wholly different character in person. Reality, the HBO project. I don't mean like actual,
about reality winner
too. Yeah, she's an actress. But I guess like when I saw that, I thought, okay, yeah, this is somebody who's really smart. She's playing it understated. She's playing it quiet. She's playing it small. This is the exact opposite character. Big, brash, bold. Says what she does. Says what's on her mind. Doesn't really want to be like just a whole thing. Like, and I think that's a good thing because it gives your characters a bit more dimension than just being like vapid rom-com characters, right? Like there are scenes in this that are a little bit plain, but also like you get some developments that are interesting. Like these, the supporting cast of the family trying to push our characters in one direction while they're implicitly running the opposite. There's one point where Sydney Sweeney's ex shows up to the party to stay via her parents giving him a call. That's a whole thing. Like just some pleasant bumps in the road. They give it more than just being like a will they won't they destination 90-minute rom-com. Like, and that's nice, man. I think it's good. I think it shows a little bit of growth in the industry. It's not just so plain Jane. It's something different, and I don't know. But it's also, heartwarmingly plain Jane like any good rom-com.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think I'm ready for recommendations.
Lots of fun. Also, good soundtrack playlist. Surprisingly, decent stuff. Mac Miller, peace. Andy, would you recommend Anyone But You?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of fun. It's a great date movie. It's really funny. It's been very successful. It'll be interesting to see if we kind of see some more rom-coms come out after this, or if Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney do work together more. They have a lot of on-screen chemistry. It's a lot of fun. It's really funny. There's lots of laughs. It follows some tropes that we love in this genre, and highly recommend.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. Anyone But You, like I said, is not big, bold cinema. It's not anything you haven't seen before, but it's unique, like in the way that it doesn't. It just feels like a movie that I haven't seen in a long time. Like it reminds me of watching older rom-coms from back in the day, but feels fresh. I don't know, man. I thought Anyone But You is not bad. Yeah, I think it's a good time if you can catch it in a theater. It seems like it's got legs. It's going to keep doing well, keep turning a profit. So I don't know if they're going to make an Anyone But You 2, but for what's here, not too shabby. I'm glad we watched it. Just a good palate cleanser. Good kind of movie you can just throw on. You don't think too much about it. Like, looks good. Bunny script. Not too shabby. Anyway, we should move on to our next segment of the episode. I'm still kind of putting this together on the background, Andy. I'm still getting these trailers up. But in the meantime, can you tell folks what we're getting into? Can you start us off with our first one?
Yep, it's time for the trailer park.